All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pirouettes and Perspectives. And today I'm very excited to introduce to you our guest for the episode, Erin Hall. Hi, Erin. How are
Hi.
you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. What are you up to right now?
I'm just visiting family in Sacramento for Thanksgiving. But right now I'm living up in San Francisco to be at the Mines training program.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember the first time I met Erin. It was actually a very funny story because I just only remember her saying the word dupe and how it was so funny. And I was like, I want to be friends with her. And so
Absolutely.
then during Nutcracker, I started talking to her more and just started becoming friends. So we met, we were both trainees last year at Sacramento Ballet, and it was a good time getting to hang out with Erin. Wonderful dancer, and so happy that she's at Lines growing and becoming even more amazing. So, are you ready, Erin?
Yes, I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Okay, so the first question is, what got you into dancing and how long ago was that?
Well, honestly, my parents just put me on dance when I was like 2, just as like an after-school activity. And then I did gymnastics with it for several years. And then I decided dance was what I wanted to focus on. So we just quit gymnastics and then was just locked into dance.
Hmm. What was better about dance than gymnastics?
It just felt like more natural and more like what I was supposed to do, I guess.
Mm, makes sense. Huh.
Hmm. Once you got into dancing, can you kind of give us like a little rundown of how you got to be a trainee at Lines?
Okay, yeah. So I've been kind of all over the place for dance. I started off at like a competitive dance studio. And then I went to another dance studio in Kentucky that was like a little bit more like of like ballet and everything like that, although it was still like a very like not serious or anything like that. And then in high school, I moved up to Indiana to go to like a day program up there for 2 years. And then I moved home to Kentucky and started commuting down to Nashville Ballet, and I was there for a total of 4 years.
Oh,
And then
wow.
yeah, I was there for a hot minute. I did 1 year in like the regular program, and then like the night program, and then I did a year in their day program, and then I did 2 years in their professional training division. And then last year was the training at Sacramento, and then now I'm at Black. So kind of
Oh,
all over the
nice.
place.
Nice. So just going back to you commuting from Kentucky to Nashville, how long of a drive was that?
It wasn't too bad if there really was not any traffic. It was usually like an hour or so. But if traffic
Wow.
was bad, it'd be like 2 hours each way.
Oh, that's
Oh.
crazy.
So yeah, so it was a bit rough.
See, I find that so interesting. I was fortunate enough to where I went to a dance studio that was like 15 minutes away from my home. But
Mhm.
like when I talk to other people, it's crazy like how far they're willing to commute just to like
Yeah,
go to a place.
I feel like it's either really common that you do like a longer commute or you move out super young.
Yeah.
Because I didn't move out until I had graduated high school, and I just commuted until then.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I commuted 30 minutes and sometimes it would be 45 minutes and I would complain. I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so long. This is terrible, but I can't imagine driving 2 hours.
Jeez.
yeah, my mom definitely didn't like it more than I did because I did not have my license at the time, so she was having to deal with all the traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to the Nashville thing, can you just like talk about your experience at Nashville Ballet?
Yeah. Um, I would say there was like a wide range of like styles there, like stylistically. Like I had one Vaganova teacher, and then um, one of them was a French teacher, so it was kind of all over the place in terms of that. But it was like a very like pretty serious ballet school, so it was a bit intense at times. And one or two of the years, I think we were taking like 2 technique classes a day. So we would do like technique and then rehearsals and then technique and then some other classes like variations or something like that. Um, yeah. I don't know
Nice.
if that answered the question.
Yeah, funny story about Nashville Ballet. In the 21-22 season, when I was a trainee at Ballet Met, I drove down to Nashville with a friend and I auditioned for their trainee program, but they messed up the audition, and so they ended up putting me in a pre-pro 1 or pre-pro
Oh,
2 class. And after that audition, that's all I got. And so I thought I would be having to be in their pre-pro program for the next season. But luckily, Sac Valley sent out a notice um for guys to be in their second company. So
yeah, that would have been crazy.
yeah. Oh, but we would have been in Nashville at the same time probably.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we were in the summer intensive together at the same time.
Yes, we were. Yeah.
Yes,
I feel like everyone meets each other at
through summer
Nashville's summer
intensive. No,
intensives.
so many people have been to Nashville's intensive or have at least been there at some point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
everyone's stomping grounds for sure.
Yeah.
Once you moved out, it was Sacramento where you first moved out. What was that like moving away from Kentucky?
Well, I actually did move to Nashville, out by myself
Hmm.
for 2 of the years. Um, and then before I moved out to Sacramento. But it was a little bit different because I was very close to home. So it's very different than like me being on the other side of the country. Well, my parents are still like in Kentucky and I'm in California. But I really enjoy living on my own and having a little bit more like freedom. Um, and just having like my own space. It can be interesting to deal with like roommate dynamics, I would say, for sure. Um, but this past year in Sacramento, I lived with my cousin and with my dog, and that was amazing. Yeah.
Nice. Can you talk about the experience you had while being a trainee at Sac Ballet?
Yeah. I feel like the program there is like really set up to be like how you would in a company because it's a lot of like rehearsals and not as much class. It's not as much like student based. It's a transition, for sure. But I really enjoyed being able to do like not company roles, but like be in company productions,
Hmm.
which was kind of nice because even though we were in like Nashville's like Nutcracker and stuff like that, we weren't really doing anything pretty much. So it was nice to be able to do like a full role, such as like flowers, um, in the Nutcracker. Yeah,
Nice. Nice. And so now you're at Alonzo King Lines Ballet as a trainee.
yeah,
Um, what made you decide to want to go there after being a trainee here at SAC?
yeah. I've gone to their summer intensive before, and it was like 5 years ago. But I remember how much I had loved that summer, and I felt like it had changed me a little bit as a dancer, and I just really felt really comfortable, and I really liked like the movement style there. And so I didn't even think it was going to be a possibility for me to go there just because financially it is like an expensive program.
Hmm.
Um, but I was able to make that work and I've been really excited about it because I have been wanting to get a little bit more into like the contemporary ballet field. Um, because I do love classical ballet, but sometimes that's just a lot, and
Yeah.
I definitely love the movement of contemporary ballet. So it's it just felt right, honestly.
Nice. Nice. So how are you liking the program?
I really like it. It's definitely kind of exhausting, but um, I really do love the program, and it definitely is challenging, especially in terms of like improving and like composition work, because that's something I haven't really worked on at all, like besides like going to their summer intensive there. So it's not something I'm super comfortable in, but it's nice that I'm becoming more comfortable with it and like challenging movement pathways and becoming more creative and artistic, like in my movement, even in like my ballet classes, like being able to like move more within the movement. Yeah, that didn't make any
Mm.
sense, but
No, that made
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I can totally relate because I feel like contemporary is always a more freeing style, and classical there's a right and a wrong. Even when I
Yeah,
teach like my adult students, I'm like, contemporary, honestly, you can do whatever you want sometimes, and you have to say that's right. So I feel like it's very freeing to be able to take bar and kind of just let go and be able
yeah,
to be who you want to be in that moment, which is very nice.
yeah, yeah.
I was just gonna ask, how do you like the city of San Francisco itself?
I don't actually live like in the city.
Hmm.
Um, I live in a suburb outside of it called Daly City. So I'm not, even though the studio is like in downtown, I don't go there super often. Mainly just like in the area right around there if we're getting like coffee or something. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been to like a few areas around there, just like here and there, even like whenever I was living in Sacramento, just like a day trip. Um, and it's a really cool town. It's some areas are a little bit sketchy, but I think it's a cool city and there's a lot of stuff to do and there's a lot of different food and like markets and everything like that. Like there's so many farmers markets there and I think that's so fun. And like
Oh,
craft
nice.
markets and stuff like that. Yeah.
Nice. I remember the first time we went to San Francisco together to get your passport for Paris, and that was the first time I was in San Francisco, and it was very different.
Hmm.
It was basically everything that I thought it was going to be, because like I feel like the movies portray it somewhat pretty well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was just a fun time to spend with you and get to see the city you were gonna live in. But
No, yeah, that
um,
was a fun day.
yeah, that's for sure. What kind of teachers are you having? Like, what kind of rep are you doing at Lines?
We mostly just do like contemporary ballet rep. Like we do like the lines rep and then like we have our end of year show coming up and one of them's like contemporary and then the one I'm doing is the contemporary ballet piece. Um but a lot of like contemporary ballet mainly. And then we did like student choreography as well, but that's just kind of whatever they want to do, but most people did just like regular contemporary.
Mm, nice, nice.
Growing up, or even in the past few years, did you have any like mentors to help you along the way?
Yeah, I would say I've had several different mentors, especially like within teachers. But especially my teacher that I had back in Kentucky at like my home studio when we were still doing like competitions and all that stuff. I've stayed in contact with her a lot, and she's always pushed me to be like more as a person and also as a dancer to keep working and like put myself out there, um, which is very nice.
If you consider the world of dance as a vast, interconnected ecosystem, in this complex network, every dancer, from the eager novice to the most seasoned professional, plays a pivotal role. This is the ethos behind Creative Generations, a project I began with a close circle of longtime friends and accomplished dancers who truly want to give current and future generations of dancers a healthier, more informed, and supportive foundation for their training. By connecting aspiring dancers with these established professionals, we are fostering a nurturing environment where knowledge and passion for dance are cultivated, shared, and passed down, ensuring the art form flourishes for generations to come. Welcome to Creative Generations.
Nice.
This is a random question, but you said that you started as a comp dancer. Was there a
Mhm.
specific style that you preferred? Was it always ballet?
Um, when I was really little, I really hated ballet. Like, I think I remember a time whenever I was like going to class, and my mom literally had to drag me into class because I did not want to do it because I hated bar so much. I'm not really sure when that changed because like a couple years later, I was like, oh, I want to be a ballerina. Like, it's gonna happen. Like classical ballet. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know.
So you kind of already touched on this, but when you changed to contemporary from
Mhm.
ballet, what were some struggles that you had or some parts that were really freeing to you?
I think it's mostly been more freeing just to get like out of the confines of classical ballet and like the stereotypes and expectations with all that. And like I feel like I naturally move more not in the classical ballet way, like more contemporary, so it feels a lot more natural and more free for me. But yeah, I think definitely just the mental side of it, just like finding like creativity and like especially with composition, like I've always been scared to do that and it's like been hard to kind of push through that. But I think it'll be very rewarding whenever I'm done with the program.
For sure.
Nice. So can you just kind of give us like a day in the life of being a trainee at Lines?
Okay, yeah. We it really depends day to day. Like there's no normal schedule at all. It's just like we get the week schedule and it's completely different from the week before. But we always have like gyrotonics or gyrokinesics twice a week. So we always have that. And then we always start with a ballet class. Usually we start either at 9 or 11. And then we are done ranging from 4 to 7 p.m. So whatever they're
Oh,
feeling in
Oh
the
wow.
day. So it's a long day. And then we usually have like at least a 15-minute break between every class and then like a 30 to an hour lunch. Just kind of depending, but some days it'll be just like 1:15 for the day. Really just it depends on
oh,
the
nice.
vibes.
Wow.
But yeah, we usually start with ballet and then we'll have some sort of like other classes like contemporary or like modern, composition, improv. And then we'll finish the day with rehearsals for whatever we're working on.
Hmm.
Going back to the ballet class part, I know someone who's a trainee at Lines, and she told me you either put on point shoes once a week or just not at all.
Yeah, that is definitely something that I feel has not been improving is the point work because we don't do a lot of point work there,
Okay.
which is kind of challenging considering like the piece that I'm in is on point. So
Oh, I see.
it's like we need to be doing point work for that. But yeah, the second years don't take any point classes at all. And then so they're just their responsibility to like wear point shoes in class if they want to.
Oh, wow.
Um, uh, but we have had it either once or twice a week, depending. Um, but like the one week we for the beginning of the program we only had it once a week, and then recently when we had our workshops to figure out who was in what dance and stuff, we've been having it twice a week. So it was a big change because we went from like 1 hour a week to like 16 hours a week on point with rehearsals and workshop. So I'm like, big jump, big jump.
Dang.
Dang.
I was gonna say you're probably saving money on point shoes, but
I have
I
not bought a
return.
pair of point shoes since I got here.
Oh,
Oh,
wow. Nice.
They are
that sounds
dead, but
nice.
we're working in them.
Do
Nice.
you guys ever get to work with the company at Lines ever?
We don't work with the company at all, but we do have workshops with Alonzo King. Like I think we had it like a week or so ago is when we had our workshop with him. A couple times a year. So it's not super often, but we do get to work with him a little bit.
Oh, nice, nice.
What was that like?
A very intense. He's definitely got a very intense personality, but he's has a lot of like interesting thoughts I like would have never even like, and he just wants you to become the movement, and he's really pushing for you to like get out of your head and just become the movement. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Interesting. What was the hardest part of being a dancer while growing up?
Um, I think moving away was really hard. Because even though I live with my dad and my sister stayed in Kentucky, and then it was just my mom and I when we moved up to Indianapolis. So that was very hard being away from them, and then I was doing homeschooling as well. So I think just like not having like the normal like growing up experience, like doing all the things like going to games and like dances and everything like that, it just feels like I don't know, you miss out a lot. miss out on a lot growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. I always said growing up, I was like, man, I wish I could go to the football game, but I have dance. But then looking back, and I was like, I did not want to go to those football games. Our high school
No.
team sucked. Like, I didn't want to go to those. But it was just a matter of like
In
the
the
principle
moment.
of it. Yeah.
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 Do you have any
Okay.
like favorite dance steps?
Honestly, I love tourgetés. Really random.
Hmm.
Um,
Whoa.
very random, yeah. And rond de jambes on the floor, not on lip. We don't like those. And pirouettes.
Nice, nice. My memory is very bad, so I don't really remember anything that happens like from like no less than like a month ago. But I remember last year you were a very good turner. Like that was one of
Thank
the
you.
like cool things about you is that you could like turn very well.
I do really like to turn.
Very stacked.
I don't know if I'd say that.
Why do you like rond de jambes?
I especially like when you do like the full like upper body ones. I don't know, they're just like good vibe.
No, I totally get it because that was my answer too. So I wanted to
Hmm.
see if we had the same reasoning. It was
They
just
just like
like
feel nice. I don't know.
it's the first freeing part of bar. Like I feel like everything else is so uptight, and then you're
Yeah,
finally able to
especially with upper
really let
body.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can add different dynamics and stuff. Fun. Usually
Hmm.
it comes with like a stretch or a port de bras at the end.
Yes. For sure. With that, would you be drawn more to a solo, a duet, or a group piece? Either if you had to choreograph it or if you had to be in it. Either.
I think it depends like on the piece, but I would say like in general, more like a duet or a pas. I just think they're like both to dance and to choreograph. I think it just is so interesting the way you can like make two bodies connect or just synchronize synchron synchronization. That's the word. Um
Yeah.
like how that works, and I don't know, I just think it's very interesting. Sorry, I can't talk.
No, it's okay. I know what you mean. It's hard talking at this hour.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite piece of rep that you've performed?
Honestly, I love doing flowers from the Nutcracker. I love Nutcracker. I think it's just so fun. It's so like nostalgic and like so Christmassy. And I just think flowers in particular is really fun.
Hmm.
And it has more like movement and yeah.
So you probably miss doing Nutcracker right now.
I do miss doing Nutcracker. I'm kind of sad I'm not doing it this year, but hopefully I'll go watch a couple.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What is the most embarrassing or scariest moment you've ever experienced in the studio or on stage?
Okay. Um. Okay. One time we were doing like a performance on like an outdoor stage, and I was doing like the fairy doll variation, and I was like starting to wear like new pointe shoes like a little bit beforehand, and I had never worn them with like the tights in my shoes, and so both heels popped off in the middle of my variation,
Oh
so I
no.
had to finish it with my heels both off. I was like
No.
halfway through. I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" Yeah, that was not ideal. It was not. It's not going well.
Ooh,
Like those
I can
the
feel
block
the
ones with
pain.
the like where there's like the split sole ones. Those ones. The stretchy material does not go well with tights. Just for anybody that wears those.
For anyone that wants those point shoes, don't do it.
Yes,
Don't
not
do
with
it.
tights. Not with tights, guys.
Was this in Nashville or?
No, this was back at like my home studio in Kentucky.
Oh, okay. So now we're gonna get into the more, deeper, scary questions. So, the first one being, are you afraid of not making it into the dance world?
Um, I would say definitely yes, because just like everything within dance is like so subjective, and I think it's really hard to like find your place because even though the dance world is very small, like I just think it's very difficult to find where you belong and like where you're like wanted, and also just the talent is insane. So it's a very competitive industry, and I definitely worry that I'm not gonna be able to make it work.
Yeah, so with that being said, what keeps you going to this day, or what keeps you motivated?
I think honestly, it's just dance has become like so ingrained within me and like my daily life. Like I don't even know what I would do without it. Like I don't feel like I would feel like myself. And I think honestly that's just what keeps me going.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day on like why a lot of people still dance even though it's like one of the hardest careers
Mhm.
that no one wants to do. And I think it's because like we're all so in love with it and like we can't imagine a life without it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think it's like what else would we do? This is all we've ever done kind of
No,
thing.
literally I'm like I don't know what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
Outside of dance, are you working like an extra job to help support yourself?
Yeah, I work as a barista at Starbucks.
Oh, nice. How often are you working there?
It honestly depends like per week, but like usually like 5 days a week.
Oh, wow. That's a
Wow.
lot.
Yeah, my availability is like really not good because our hours that we have to be at dance are from like 9 to 7. We have to be available every day. So it
Mhm.
doesn't really leave me much room. So I either work like a 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. shift, or
Mm.
I'll work like a 7:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. shift.
Oh, jeez. I'm
Wow.
so
Yeah.
sorry.
No, the morning ones are a little bit rough.
Oh, oh my God.
4
How
a.m.
would
is
you
not for
roll out of
me.
bed? Yeah.
No, literally, I get up like literally 10 minutes before I need to be at work.
Mm.
Real.
Have everything ready the night before, because then I have to literally go home and then like literally change and leave like right away.
Oh, damn. So outside of dancing and working at Starbucks, do you have any hobbies or passions outside of dance?
I like to bake a lot, and
Mm.
I haven't done it recently, but I used to be really into like art and drawing and stuff like that. So I'm hoping I can get a little bit back into that,
Hmm,
so I can do that in my spare time.
nice. What kind of
Yeah.
stuff do you like to draw?
Um, literally like anything, honestly.
Anything? Nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I remember. Okay. How do you continue to grow as a dancer?
I think your technique is like always growing as long as you're working and taking class and everything, but I think mainly it's just like being more creative and more artistic and finding new ways to move and new ways to express like emotions within the movement. Yeah.
Hmm, I like that answer a lot. Um, what do you personally think it takes to be successful in this industry?
I think just like being able to push yourself and put yourself out there, which I think can be very difficult. And like I find it very hard to put myself out there, but I know it's something I need to work on if I want to be successful in the field. Um, because if you want people to see you, you need to be out there for them to see you,
Mm.
Right, yeah.
and like take risks. I need to work on taking risks. But yeah.
Mhm.
Mm. Yeah. What kind of risks would you say they are? It's like just putting yourself in the front of the room, not being afraid to go and talk to that guest choreographer, or like what
Yeah,
kind
I
of risk?
think along those lines, and like with like taking choreography or like just an improv and everything, just like not worrying about like what it looks like, just trying to find new movement. But yeah, I think a lot is just risking like looking stupid. I don't know. Just to put yourself out there, even though even if you know that you're not going to get that job, or um maybe you'll never sit choreographer again, but yeah, like talking to them, or just like sending an email out, like you may not get it, but you might get a yes. You never know. Like if you don't ask, you'll never know. So
Yeah. I also feel like a lot of choreographers want people to look stupid now. Like a lot of people are like, how do you make it weirder, or like stuff like that. So I feel
more
like
abstract,
sometimes, sometimes it's okay to look a little dominant, because sometimes that's what they're looking for.
yeah, they want to bring out the personality a little bit.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like within like contemporary and stuff like that. I'd say it's a little bit different for classical, but
If there was anything you could change about the dance industry right now, what would you change?
I would just say mainly in like classical ballet, just like the stereotypes and like the expectations, um, in terms of that, and just everything being like so strict, and like it a lot, especially in classical like areas, like it feels like you can't like have a say at in anything, and like it's just like whatever the teacher wants, and like being able to like stand up for yourself more, I guess. I don't know.
Do you believe that dance feels still like a passion, or does it feel like a job?
I think it's definitely both. Like it definitely depends on the day, because I am very passionate about it, but some days it feels like a lot more work than other days. Like depending on how tired I am and like what we're working on. Like some days are very hard and I want to quit, but then there's other days where I'm like, I love this so much, and like I can't imagine ever quitting. Like it really depends on the day, but I think the passion outweighs it feeling like a job.
Nice.
Yeah. I think you just described like everyone's thoughts and feelings when they become a professional. Some days
No,
I hate
literally.
my life, and then the other days I love what I do,
Exactly.
and it's so fun.
You just gotta make it through the day, and then tomorrow's gonna be a whole new day.
Exactly. If you could give your younger self or any young dancer any form of advice, what would it be?
Don't let fear control you or stop you from taking opportunities.
That's nice. Do you feel like you let yourself use fear to stop you from opportunities a lot?
I feel like I've been working on it recently, but I think definitely, yeah. I think it stopped me from like a lot of opportunities and putting myself out there for getting opportunities,
I mean, you did a very big jump by going to lines. You broke out of the classical mold and did exactly what you wanted to do. So I feel like you are already taking the first steps to taking your advice, which is really nice to see.
That's good to think about.
Yeah. What do you think you would be doing if you never became a dancer?
I'm honestly not sure. When I was like a little kid, I always said I was going to be a doctor. Not really sure. That would have never came through, I don't think. I don't think my like math and science skills are up to par for that. But I think I would probably be doing something like, I really find psychology interesting. So maybe something to do with that, or like interior design, or honestly culinary school as well, I think would be kind of fun. Yeah.
Nice. So this next question kind of goes hand in hand with that, but after you're done dancing, do you know what you want to do?
No clue, really.
That's fair.
I need to go to school. I need to get going on that, but and then just take all my general ed, and then try and see what I'm passionate in outside of dance. So
do you think you'd want to stay in the dance world somehow, or?
I'm not entirely sure. Like, I don't really think I would be that into teaching, which I think is what a lot of would follow up with dance, but like maybe an administrative like form or something like that, stay connected to it, or like I've also thought into like nutrition, so like nutrition for dancers, I think would be like a really interesting job, and I feel like I would enjoy something like that.
Oh, nice, nice.
So that was our final question. But one more question. Do you have anyone that you would like to volunteer to be interviewed by us?
Mm-hmm. About Eleanor from Sacramento. She was a trainer with us last year.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We'll have to reach out to her and see if she's interested.
Where does she dance now?
She is at university. Yeah, she's at the University of Utah.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice. All right, well, thanks for the recommendation. And I hope you had a good time being on the show.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Of course. All right, well, that has been another episode of Pirouettes and Perspectives with your guest for today, Erin Hall. Thanks for watching, everyone.